Here's what you need to make these delicious cookies. The first thing is a cookie sheet that you've lined with parchment paper. You're also going to need 2 large eggs, white or brown, a white, vanilla, or yellow cake mix, just so that you can see through the cake. It's not like dark chocolate or something. 2 bowls, one for the wet and one for the dry ingredients. Just under half a cup of sprinkles, whatever kind of sprinkles you want. 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. 1/4 of a cup of chocolate chips. I used white chocolate chips, but again, whatever kind you want. The recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of baking powder, but I use baking soda and it still works, so choose at your own, discretion. And half a cup of vanilla. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is set your oven to preheat at 350. Then in one bowl, you want to pour in your cake mix and add your dry ingredients. So your baking, I use soda, but baking powder or soda, whichever one. And then mix it together. Then in your other bowl, you want to add in your wet ingredients. So your eggs, your vanilla, as well as your vegetable oil. Once that is mixed or in the bowl, mix it all together. So then it looks like, kind of like scrambled eggs, like it's really beaten in there. Then you're going to slowly add bit by bit of your dry ingredients and mix it in. Now, we used a whisk. However, it did start to get clumpy in the whisk, so we had to switch over to just a spatula. So, make your own decisions, I guess, as to what you want to use. Once the dough is formed, add your chocolate chips and mix it in. Here you can see we're using the spatula. And once all those are mixed in, you want to add in your sprinkles. Now, you can obviously add in however many or little sprinkles you want. It's totally up to you. Mix that in well until all the sprinkles are mixed in. They're not in a clump, but not so much so that the dye starts to turn the color of the sprinkles, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Once your dough is all mixed together, you want to take a little bit of it, roll it out until you have a ball that's about 1 inch. The height and width, and then put it on your baking sheet. This recipe makes about 30 cookies, so we had to do 3 batches in the oven because they didn't all fit obviously on this one pan. We had to do a bunch of different pans, and then cook it for 9 minutes, and then when it's done, take it out and let them cool off. They're gonna drop a little bit. They're not gonna be so fluffy, but they're still amazing. For this recipe, you can obviously use whatever kind of sprinkles. You can use colored sprinkles like we did and make them for a birthday. You could use red and pink for Valentine's Day, green and red for Christmas, whatever floats your boat. I know there's a difference between baking soda and baking powder, but I screwed up the recipe and that's what I had, so that's what I used, which I know obviously you don't want to be like, oh, replace that, because it does not always work. But in this case, it did, so feel free to use it if you want.